All right, think of this scenario. You're on the street and a man all of a sudden just comes up while you're with your girl and tries to size you up. You don't know why, you don't know where he came from. He's just really fucking pissed at you and he wants to fight. What do? A, run away and leave your girl to handle the problem. B, beat the living shit out of him. C, try to talk it out. D, start screaming and sizing him up. I'll give you a second to figure out the correct answer. Did you get it right? The correct answer was obviously none other than C. Let me prove this to you. If you chose A, to run away and let your girl handle it, you're a pussy. Obviously, you should never leave your girl or any other woman alone with an aggressive man, much less to handle your problems. B, if you beat the shit out of him, one of two things can happen. Either you can get the shit beat out of you for trying to harm him, or you can actually do serious damage to him and get the cops called on you and potentially even earn yourself a jail sentence. All because you tried to show how macho you are from your 2 boxing classes. D, start screaming at him and trying to size him up. If you're a dog or an animal, yeah, that's a good decision. But if you're a civilized human being, you should be thinking more clearly. Doing that isn't going to cause anything but more tension that will snap quickly and could end up very bad for both you and your girlfriend. So the correct answer is obviously C, to try and talk it out and de-escalate the situation peacefully. So chances are you got this wrong. If this actually happened to you, you might be more fucked than you realize because you don't know how to handle conflict. But thankfully, you're watching this video, and in this guide, I'm going to teach you exactly how to handle any conflict should this arise. So before I go over the 5 steps to handle conflict, we need to go over step 0. These are the absolute basics of handling social conflicts. And if you master these, it'll be very rare that you find yourself in any conflict whatsoever. First of all, you have to be prudent. What does this mean? You can't go around the world thinking you're all macho, all alpha, trying to size everyone up, because sooner or later you're going to find someone that's sick of your shit and he's going to start a problem. Now, I'm not saying to not be confident. I'm not saying to not walk around with your chest high and your shoulders raised. I'm saying that you don't want to make other people feel less than you. Be confident in your own image and leave other people to their life. Don't constantly be trying to look for a problem. I know that can get hard, especially if you've just started learning to fight, or you just got a growth spurt, or you've just hit the gym. You can feel like you can beat anyone in the world, like you're king of the world. It's not true. It's fake ego that will get you in problems. So don't start a fight at any cost. You also want to have good body language. You don't want to always be walking like this. I see a bunch of guys that are walking like this, and from the eyes of a normal man, you look unconfident. But from the eyes of a potential dangerous threat, you're prey. You're a victim. Having good body language, confidence, and exuding that confidence will let them know that it's better not to cause problems with you, because they're going to have a harder time fucking with you. And I know you might get hurt with this one, bro, but the easiest way to not have any problems arise is to not look like a pussy. If you're skinny, if you're weak, if you look a bit feminine, there's some guys that are just going to take advantage of that and they're going to try and pick on you. So the easiest way to not get into conflicts is to be in shape and look physically fit. Because put yourself in the eyes of the aggressor. If you want to go and harm someone, you're not going to go for the guy who has muscles and is confident and looks like he knows what he's doing. You're going to go for the skinny nerd who, quite frankly, doesn't know what he's doing there. So don't look like a victim, or you'll become a victim. Okay, step 1. Analyze the situation. Where are you? Who is involved? What is the problem or argument? These are all things that you have to have very clear in your mind when the problem arises. If you don't know what's happening around you, you have no chance of solving it, and you will likely be harmed during the process. So figure out where you are. Figure out the nearest exits. Figure out any escape paths. Check if there's any people around you who you can alert and that can possibly help you in case a fight breaks out. Check if the aggressor has any friends with them. That leads to knowing who's involved. In the scenario that you're with your girlfriend, you have to protect her, bro. She's part of the conflict. If you're with your mom, if you're with your brother, if you're with your friend, they are part of the conflict also. So you need to make sure that before anything else, they are safe. Stand physically in front of them, tell them to alert someone, do anything to keep them safe first. Now we get to worrying about you before you get your own ass beat. What is the conflict? What's the problem? Try to decipher what that person wants from you. Maybe he's angry because you looked at him the wrong way.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Maybe he's just pissed drunk and he needs somebody to take out his frustration on. Figure it out. And also, for fuck's sake, be aware where the aggressor is. I see a bunch of videos on WorldStar and on Twitter, everything, where a fight will break out and someone will get knocked out just because the aggressor came up to them, and instead of at least keeping arm's distance, they just decided to let the aggressor get right in their face. Guess what happens? Knocked out. So always remember that if he can touch you, he can fuck you up. Make sure to keep your distance. Okay, once you've analyzed the problem, you go to your options. The pros and cons. The main ones are fight, flight, talking it out or saying sorry, swallowing your ego, and just leaving. Now, this will all depend on who's with you, where you are, etc. So take that into account and mix and match for your specific problem. But let's go with fight. I wouldn't recommend this as the first solution to basically any situation, unless somebody's already attacking you and you have to defend yourself. There's no point in swinging at someone. Because as we said, worst case scenario, he kicks your ass, and best case scenario, you hurt him and you're in trouble. So I would only fight if there are literally no other options. But you know that advice that you heard? Let him swing first. When you were in high school maybe, so the principal wouldn't get mad, so the principal wouldn't think that you started it. You'd let them hit first so you can hit them back. Fuck no. That's not real life. I don't know why schools teach that. If you're gonna punch, punch first and punch fast. Because the last thing you want to do is wait for them to punch you and wake up 5 minutes later on the floor, just knocked out, not knowing where the fuck you are. Try to avoid fighting at all costs, but if you have to fight, do it first and do it fast. Second, flight. This means running away. A lot of people assume it with cowering, but it all just depends. If a guy has a gun, there's no amount of talking that you can do. The best thing you want to do is take cover and run. Sometimes there's no shame in running. Same thing if there's a group of guys that are clearly going after you. There's zero point in trying to talk it out with them or fighting them because you will get your ass beat. Run as soon as possible. Again, this is all supposing that nobody's there. Your girlfriend isn't there, your brother isn't there, your mom isn't there. You don't want to leave anyone behind. Third, talk it out. For 99% of conflicts, this will work. If you have good social skills, understand the problem, and have a bit of emotional IQ, you'll be able to talk out problems with anyone. Swallow your pride, understand their problem, and try to make them smile. Try to make them not take themselves that seriously. Talk it out with them, you go your separate ways, shake hands, and be gone. And the last one, the one that nobody wants to fucking do, is to say sorry and leave. You have to weigh your pros and cons. If a drunk guy comes up to you, you're not going to talk it out because he can't even talk. If you try to tell him, hey, listen, bro, he's going to be like, blah, 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 and probably beat the shit out of you. So the best thing to do in those scenarios is just to be like, hey, bro, you're right, sorry. And you leave. And if anybody is with you, they're safe, you're safe, etc. Step number 3, action. If you couldn't already get out of the situation, if you haven't already got it handled, it's time to take action. Your hands start getting clammy, your adrenaline starts rushing to your brain. You know what time it is. Now, the best steps to take action are as follows. You must be thinking on your feet. You can't be planning as if you're in a slow-mo Matrix movie. He's gonna hit me, and then I'm gonna do this, and that's gonna happen, and that. No. Think quick, think fast, act quick, act fast. There's no time for hesitation. You have to be confident. All prior training that you have, all prior preparation that you have, if you have any, you need to use. It needs to be like muscle memory. And if you don't have any, well, that sucks for you. We'll talk about that later. Now, some people, especially if they're trained fighters, they'll think, oh, but what if I hurt him? And what if this happens? All that goes out the window. The first thing that you need to worry about is your own life. Because you don't know what his intentions are. He might have nothing to lose and genuinely try to kill you. So first, handle him, whether that be hitting him, whether that be submitting it, anything you have to do, and then worry about the rest later. Figure it out. Once you've already harmed him, once you've subdued him, then you can worry about how to solve that. But first, take care of yourself. And if there is anyone with you, take care of them too. Now we go on to step 4, consequences. This is the aftermath. Everything has happened. The guy's on the floor, dying. No, but the conflict is resolved in one way or another. You guys either left or he's knocked out. Hopefully you're not knocked out. Now you need to think about how to solve everything. What is the best plan of action? List out the consequences. What happened? Did anybody get harmed? Was there any weapons involved? What were the results of the conflict? Now, step by step, you're going to figure out the solution to each one. Maybe you need to call the cops. Maybe you need to go home. Maybe you need to help the victim up and find them some help. Whatever the case may be, solve these problems. Do not leave any stone unturned. And most of all, get it done swiftly and move on. Because you never know who's waiting for him. You never know if he has backup. You never know the entire situation. Because truth is, you don't know what you don't know. So try to move things along quickly and get to safety. And step 5, a bonus point, since I'm so benevolent and amazing and sexy. Know how to fight. All of this can be solved if you have a basis of self-defense. If a man walks up to you and he's getting aggressive, first of all, you know what distance to keep him at. Second of all, you know that in any scenario, you can defend yourself. Third of all, you don't have to fight because you know what that implies. But you know that if you do fight, everything's going to be okay. Or at least you'll have more confidence. This is by far the best way to not even get in one of these scenarios in the first place. So if you don't know how to defend yourself, you have a big problem. Because the reality is that the world is violent. And that sometimes this shit just happens. So you need to be prepared for it. Now, I'm thinking of making a course on the basics of self-defense, just in case any of you want to learn. Let me know down in the comments if that's something you guys would want. But now that you know how to handle conflicts, you can go out into the world and just do you. Remember, don't start any problems, don't be stupid, and you'll be fine. See you, bro.